All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and begin today. My name is David King with Appulate. I'm here with Mark Gelando. I'm sorry, Mark, I hope I said that right.
Oh, you're totally fine. Yeah, Mark Galindo.
Galindo, thank you, thank you. From Flow Specialties here to bring you a presentation about their cyber product. Mark, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
Yes, yes. Thank you, David, and thank you everyone for joining us for this 30 minutes. Really excited to talk to you today on who we are and the value that we bring to the table, and really how we can help you and your clients be more efficient and get the best deal for them in a particular area of coverage. And it's particularly, we're going to talk a lot about cyber, but also in addition to that, we're going to talk about more executive lines and professional lines. David, I think you're in control of the slide, so I'm just going to ping you as we go, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So just kicking off, guys. So I just want to start with this first slide. So Flow Specialty is who we are. And what we're all about is we're bringing enterprise service to the specialty mid-market space. There's a lot to unpack there. We're going to go through the next 15, 20 minutes talking through how we do that and how we are changing the game in commercial insurance, specifically in the executive line, professional line space, by using technology in a way that hasn't been done in past years. Next slide, David. David, you want to go to the next slide, please?
Yeah, I did. Is it not showing?
No, I still see the first slide.
One moment here. Sorry, everyone. I don't know why this is doing this. How about now? Can you see it?
I can. Can you go back up one, please? I think.
Oh, there it is. I think. How about now?
No, it's
I
still
don't know why
showing
it's doing this.
There it is.
Are we on page 3?
You're on 3 now. If you can go back to 2 real quick.
Okay.
There it is.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, if it continues, we can just go to one slide that kind of talks all about it. But
Okay.
but yeah, so just a little bit about myself. I'm going to keep this really brief so we can get into the main purpose of this conversation. Mark Galindo, 21 years in the business. All of it has been in the executive line space, specifically managed liability. I've been an underwriter for the majority of my career, so 18 years. The last stint, I was with Beasley for about 8 years. And then I switched over and I was a retail broker like yourself at Marsh on their FinPro side, just really focusing on Fortune 1000 companies, helping them place their D&O. I joined Flow in June of 2024 to help build out the sales team and also give expertise, and not only managed liability, but also in cyber liability and professional liability and all the different MPL and different E&O lines of coverage that we specialize in. So next slide, please. So really quickly, I just want to show you a quick snapshot of who we are. And I can tell you this slide is already out of date. We are in super hyper growth mode. And I can add another 4 individuals on this page. But on your top left is our president, David Dierjotis. He worked at Burns and Wilcox for many years, running their professional lines division. And of course, you can see myself and some of the other sales folks. But what I really want you to focus in on is on your top right. That's going to be a young lady by the name of Yvonne Castillo. Yvonne Castillo comes with a lot of experience on the service side and also in cyber liability. So when we talk about how we can help you, when you do send us submissions either through Appulate or directly to us, Yvonne's going to be your point of contact. She's going to be the one, your dedicated person that you're going to be working with, along with myself and other salespeople, but she's going to be your main point of contact going forward. Next slide, please. Okay, so why was Flow created, and what do we do, what are we doing that's so different and sets us apart from any other traditional wholesaler in the current marketplace? Well, when we did our review, we did our research, and we looked at where's in the chain of the insurance placement of cyber, D&O, E&O, professional liability. Where's the breakdown? Where is it ripe for disruption? And what we found is, from a service level standpoint, on the left side, you had your micro business. So this is, call it 2,000 in premium or below. And as you can imagine, there's not a lot of expertise that is needed. There's not a lot of heavy lifting that is needed. A lot of times those insurers, those buyers don't really need a full coverage analysis. They just need your expertise in saying, hey, look, this is the right coverage to buy, and here's a couple reasons why. So there's not a lot of labor intensive need for that particular business. But then if you go over to the right and the enterprise side, these are, call it 100,000 in premium or above. So call it risk management or large accounts. They typically have a team of brokers or a team of salespeople working on that particular account, diving into it, giving deep analysis, deep advice, all because the premium supports it, right? The commission levels on that particular account supports having a senior level wholesaler, a junior level wholesaler, and an account manager, all working on the same account to give the best level of service to that particular retailer on that particular account. But what about the middle? What about that, what we call the SME space? So the small middle market enterprise space, right? So call that anywhere between 2,000 in premium all the way up to 100,000 in premium. So this space could be pretty complicated, as you know, right? In a softening market, you're not always going to have, six-figure deals, six-figure premiums on all your complex deals. There could be $50,000, $75,000 deals that you have that are fairly complex and need some technical assistance to help the buyer make an informed decision, right? But you don't get that same level of enterprise service that you get on the enterprise level accounts because the commissions don't support it. And so that's the gap that we found. And we said, how can we improve this? How can we close that gap and meet our retailers and give them exactly what they want, right? The value of a wholesaler, of bringing expertise, of bringing speed, of bringing content. And so on the next slide, we're going to kind of show this. So in an enterprise level, you do get this, right? You get all three of these, right? Speed, expertise, and great coverage, because you're going to have an individual that's going to be dedicated to that account. They're going to be servicing that account as it comes in. They're going to over communicate. And rightfully so. They're going to have expertise. They're going to have a dedicated person who knows what they're talking about, years of experience, can understand how to negotiate coverages to the best of their ability for that particular risk profile. And then, of course, they're going to, because of that expertise, they're going to get that great coverage because they're going to negotiate it. So you're going to get all three of those. What happens in that mid-market space and that gap that I was just talking about is you're kind of forced to choose one of these. In reality, you're probably getting speed. Speed wins the day in a wholesale market. If you're selling it to a wholesaler, really you're trying to get, one of the first two responses back. And if it looks good and if it's okay, no significant red flags, you're probably going to go with it. But in reality, you're not really getting a high level of expertise, and you're probably not getting the best coverage available because you're not pushing, because you don't have the expertise, you're not pushing that underwriter to give you the best coverage. So you're sacrificing two out of the three because of the commission levels, because you can't get that enterprise level service on that mid-market space. So how are we doing it? In the next slide, we kind of walk through how we address this. So this is who we are. We are wholesale 3.0. We're white glove service. powered by platformless AI. And let's just start at the top. What does 3.0 mean? So 3.0 basically means we're not 1.0 is, really old school, taking the printing off the papers, submitting the application in that kind of format. 2.0 is, we ask you to log in to portals and different platforms. So you're doing double data entry. It's time consuming. 3.0 says we are to meet you where you are. Whatever you have in hand, you give it to us. It's an application, maybe some supporting documents for that particular submission, and then we do everything else for you. There's nothing else that you need to do. It's platform as AI. It's 3.0. It's hands off. We take that stress off of you. You give it to us, and we work that account within your time frame, within your needed time frame, to give you that same level of service. And then talking about service, when you go to the left side, white glove, what does that mean? Human expertise. We are intentionally bringing on individuals like myself and the rest of our sales team that have deep expertise in a particular line of coverage. We have extensive knowledge in cyber liability, extensive knowledge in D&O, extensive knowledge in A&E, and so on and so forth. We bring in that expertise, and then we teach our technology, our AI agents, we teach it that particular line of coverage, that insurance, so it can work on our behalf, right? That's how we're able to do this. We're leveraging technology, we're leveraging our AI to be efficient. And what I say, run faster, smarter, and be more efficient to outbeat our competition. And that kind of I jumped a little bit ahead there. Platform as AI is technology led. We're utilizing that technology to help us whenever we engage with the markets, when we engage with you, to be really quick. So not only do you just get the speed, but you get the expertise, and you're obviously going to get great coverage on every single deal, not just that enterprise level deal, not for $100,000 or more deal. And if it's a $500 premium, you're going to get the same level of service as you're going to get if it was a $100,000 deal. Next slide, please. So how are we doing this? How does it actually work? What's the workflow? So as you can kind of see here, if you stick with the middle, that's us. We have our AI agents working with our human sales and brokerage team. Let me just reiterate really quickly. You will never, if you work with us, you will never get anything directly from our AI agents. Our AI agents can be dubbed as interns, junior associates, account managers, however, whatever label you want to give them, but they work for us internally. And we look and we put eyes on every single thing to confirm that everything is accurate before it goes out to you and your client. So you're never going to get anything that hasn't been blessed by a human. And the way it works is you send a submission to us, right? Starting from the left to the right, you send it to us. You can send it to us via email. You can hand it over to us, however you want to give it to us. You give it to us, and then we work it in 3 different channels. We have API connections. So if it's pretty small, it's pretty, I don't want, quote unquote, vanilla risk profile. We throw it into our API connections, and we get quotes instantaneously. We have about 5 markets that we connect with via API that have been phenomenal, and we get quotes instantaneously. And so that really elevates our service. We do the traditional way. We send our markets by emails. So you send it to us. We identify the markets that we want to engage, and we let you know who those markets are and why. And then we send it to them via email, and then we start negotiating a deal with that underwriter. And then lastly, of course, we still want to use portals where it makes sense. But what we've done now is we trained our AI agent for that particular task to extract the information from the submission, from the email, from all the documents, and then it will key entry all that key information into the portal for us on our behalf. And so then now that submission gets entered through a portal where we can now get quotes and negotiate with those underwriters via portal. So I will say the majority of the time we are negotiating via email just because that's kind of how our world works, but we are still utilizing AI and portals on a much higher level than I think our competition is. Next slide, please. So just really high cap, just high level. And by the way, guys, real quick, if you have questions, please submit them. I mean, you can, we don't have to wait till the end. You can ask questions as we go. But here's everything that we do. And this is a lot of words on this page, but just know, today we're talking about cyber liability and here are all the key coverage items that we look at: privacy liability, network security, network business interruption, of course, the E&O side of it, specifically tech E&O, cyber, media liability, expertise in large limit towers. So we're building a $50 million tower right now as we speak for a particular client. Broad first and third party tailored solutions, regulatory violations. So have extensive experience in the cyber liability space. And we have, out of our 80 markets that you see below there, out of our 80 markets, I would say roughly 30% are really heavily on the cyber side. We have markets that are dedicated for really small startup clients or insureds who maybe don't have all the controls in place. Maybe they don't have an MFA in place. Maybe they don't have some of these other controls, but they're still willing to look at them and write them, whereas other carriers won't. That's a great market for us to have, so they can grow with that particular insured. And of course, we have other markets that are both admitted and not admitted, that can offer up to 10 million in limits, can offer excess and primary, so on and so forth. But we also offer managed liability. Kind of given my background, I'm heavy in the managed liability space. We also do a lot in that area, from nonprofit organizations to privately held organizations, all the way up to organizations going public and publicly traded companies. We have all that expertise in house, and we have the markets to cater to those risks. And of course, we do professional liability from all areas: miscellaneous, lawyers. We have deep expertise in the LPL space, or lawyers E&O space, healthcare, accountants, A&E. We do a lot of A&E business, and so on and so forth. That's kind of the area where we really focus on, and I think that's really where we can help you and your particular clients as we move forward. Next slide, please. So that's really high level. How are we doing? Who we are, right? We're bringing enterprise level service to the mid-market space. We want to extend that to you. We want to make sure you have access to that. Reach out to us. You have my email right there. There's a QR code. Scan that if you want. You can reach us directly. You can go through the Appulate platform. However you want to get to us, you can get to us, and we will be sure to service you as well as your client. David, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can take over.
I'll continue from here. Perfect. Thanks, Mark. All right, everybody. It looks like there's been no questions so far. This is a great little pause point. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and put them in the questions field, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. We do have a few questions here, so we're going to start with these here. So, do we need to use a platform to work with you?
No,
You want to get that, Mark?
no, not at all. You do not have to use a platform. Just kind of reemphasize what I was saying earlier. We are platformless. You just send us what you have, and we will take it from there. If there's any additional information that we need, we'll be in contact. Obviously, we're going to be corresponding with you. We typically over communicate, and we'll get everything that we need to negotiate the best deal for your client.
Great, thank you. I got another one here. If we do reach out, will we talk to a AI bot?
No, absolutely not. You're going to be talking to either myself, but particularly you're probably going to be talking to Yvonne. Yvonne's going to be your dedicated person, and she, like I said, is well versed. You will never talk to a bot ever.
Perfect. All right, we got another one. Mark, is Flow a market for E&O for insurance agencies?
Yes, we do E&O for all kinds of risk. Anything that you have, we have markets that can write it. It may be tough, it may be challenging, but we are tasked to do it all, and we can do it all. So yes, we can.
Great. What specialties do you focus on?
Yeah, that's kind of reemphasized with the last slide. We have deep expertise in cyber liability. We have a lot of experience there, but we also play in the managed liability space as well as the miscellaneous E&O and professional liability space.
Perfect. All right. And then I got another question, and then we're going to dive into the Appulate side here. To be appointed as a retailer, do you have to have a premium uh, minimum commitment?
No, not at all. Because we're able to use our technology and our um, our AI agents, we don't have to. We don't have to set a minimum to make sure that we're getting a certain amount of revenue. We're able to expedite that. We're able to, leverage our technology. So there's no minimum whatsoever.
Great. Thank you, Mark. All right, from here, everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the Appulate side of the system, and then we're going to come back to questions, or if there's any more along the way, we're going to go ahead and continue there. So what we're going to do is for anybody who's either not used Appulate in a really long time, or maybe never used Appulate that's here today, we're just going to quickly go over how to access your account, and then we're going to go through a full submission on how to submit to Flow. Really quick, really straightforward. This won't take much time, but it'll be a good refresher for everyone. So once you start at the Appulate platform here, appulate.com, you're greeted at this main website here. Just simply click login. From here, you're going to see email, password, etc. First thing I would suggest you doing is just to go to forget password. Enter your email in here. If you get an email within, say, 3 to 4 minutes, then you've already got an account, and then you can just go back in and hit and follow the reset password link. If you don't get anything in a few minutes, just go down here to where it says don't have an account, sign up. Just simply click this, follow a few little prompts, and you're started. But for those of you that do have an account, super easy. Let's go ahead and just log in here. Now this login information is going to be essential on some of these steps going forward here. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to be greeted to a main login page. If you want to use Accords to bring the data into the system, which we highly recommend doing, uh, you can go up here to Tools and click on the Appulate uplink. So again, Tools uplink. And what this feature is going to do is it's going to allow us to read the Accord data and push this into Appulate. So from here, all you're going to do is you're going to go to download uplink driver, either for Windows or for Mac. It'll prompt you for whichever one, and then you just install this software. Really what this is doing is it's installing a printer driver to your computer, which we'll demonstrate here in just a few minutes. And again, this data will then, or excuse me, this feature will read the Accord data and bridge this directly into Appulate. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that here. So go in here, and I've got an older Accord. Now, if you've got an 834 or I believe it's 825 for cyber, that's going to be ideal. I don't have one at the moment, so we're just going to use an 825 just to demonstrate this for you. But if you wanted to do this manually, I'm going to demonstrate that as well. That way, if you just want to bridge the data in, or excuse me, manually enter the data in. So from here, once I've installed those printer drivers, I'm just going to tell the system to print. I hit Control P, it's a shortcut, but you could just go over to File, Print. Now, the same thing will apply if you're coming from your agency management system. So let's say use Epic or whatever AMS you choose. Just tell it to generate the Accord, again, 834, 825, or 125. And then you'll choose this uplink driver instead of your current printer. So you choose uplink, and then I just simply hit print here. And now what this is going to do is it's going to read this form for me. It's going to ask me for those credentials that we just acquired or needed a few minutes ago. We'll hit send. And now from here, we're brought into the Appulate system. So now what it's doing, it's saying, hey, what line of business do you want to use this Accord for? So we would choose cyber liability, and I would hit continue. Now, if you're doing this manually, which we'll go back to in just a minute here, it's a little different steps, but we'll do that in just a second. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to go back and show you guys how to manually do this. So if you're going to manually create a request, what you'll do is we'll go back to here and we'll go create new insured. And you would just simply click create new insured. You would type their name in, follow the same steps. You would choose the exact same thing we just did on the last screen, showing that you're selecting cyber liability, and it'll bring you back to the next screen. For our case, just for time's sake, we're going to continue the quote we have in here already. And so this has brought in that data because we use that Accord. So when I go to the insured tab here, you're going to see a lot of this data has been bridged in here. Okay. And then we're going to, up top here is our effective date. So we're going to go ahead and just update this to, we'll say tomorrow. Okay. And then we're going to go back to quote request. Now, because we've chosen cyber, the system is smart enough to only show us cyber markets. So when I hit find markets here, Okay, we've got flow specialty already selected. I've done them previously, but for our test today, I'm going to do the testing of flow specialty just because I'm not going to do it on production. But you would choose flow specialty. Now, also, if you've never chosen flow specialty, they will show up right here as well. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to select this, hit add market. And now it's really simple, everybody. From here, we just simply slide over here to start quote. And now we're brought into the questionnaire for flow specialty. Now, Flow has designed this questionnaire to be very specific to what they're looking for. So you're going to follow through all these steps. And if you see up here, we got 1 and a 3. These are the required questions. So there's a couple things we can do on the screen to make our life a little easier if we want. We can do show required questions only. And as you notice, this knocked out all those other questions except for what's required. Now, additionally, if you want even more power over this, you can even ask your insured. So as the agent, let's say you're working with the insured, you didn't get these questions answered. Instead of calling the insured and asking them, you could simply just hit ask insured, follow through these prompts here, and you'll be able to send these questions directly over to the insured with a link that's like it's a digital interface. They'll click the link, it'll open up a page that looks almost just like this. Inside there, your insured will answer those questions. They'll hit save, and then it gets automatically loaded back into the Appulate system. So it makes it a really hassle-free experience for you. So from here at this point, we'll just go ahead and put in some revenue numbers just for this demo here. Okay, so we'll just put 200,000 in there. We'll say no cyber currently in place. We'll say no, and then we'll say no. And then from here, we just simply hit request quote. And from here, what'll happen is the flow team will get back to you in a short period of time. Mark, if you want to speak to this one a little bit on how quickly you want to let everybody know we're gonna get back to them.
Yes. No, thank you, David. Yes, as soon as we get made contact, so as soon as we receive your email or whatever form we get that information, we're going to respond within 24 hours. But I would tell you that's the standard line. We will probably respond within a couple hours. That's the kind of dedicated service that we have.
Yeah, and you'll know it's been submitted because it'll show these words submitted here. And like I said, Flow will reach out to you via email and they'll connect with you from there. The advantage of the Appulate system is, again, it's pulling all your data in for you, especially if you're using the Accords. It's going to make this a very quick process to use. All right, do we have any additional questions here today? We had some good
Any
ones
last
earlier.
questions? Yeah. Any last questions before we sign off? We'd love to hear more from you guys.
I got one here for you. I have a last minute deal. What documents do I need to get started?
Oh, that's a great question. Just send us what you have, and then we will just correspond. We'll get on the phone with you. We'll just correspond if there's any additional information that we need to go to market. And then really quickly, talk about timing. We always work off of your time frame. So if this is a last minute deal, as this particular example is, we will make it a priority, and we can have we can meet your turnaround time.
Great.
That's the beauty of our
Uh,
technology. Yep.
will we get a copy of this recording so we can share with our colleagues who are not able to attend the meeting?
Is that for you, David, or for me?
Oh, well, I mean, we both can answer it, I guess. Yes, we're going to be, it may take a day or two to get it out to everybody, but Flow will be able to send that out to everybody via email. It'll be
Yeah.
a YouTube link we'll send out to everybody.
Perfect. Yep.
Thank you for that question. Any more questions, everybody? We got Flow's team is here to answer any questions you guys got. All right, I'm not getting any questions coming in, so we're going to wrap it up in 30 seconds here. Give anybody a last chance to get in.
Oh, here
Oh,
we go. We got one. Is
yeah, you want to go
commission
for it?
paid? Oh, is the commission paid by Appulate? That would be a no. That'd be through Flow, correct?
Yeah, so Don, how this works is Appulate, we're just a technology provider, and then Flow is our partner. So Flow will handle all once it's submitted through Appulate, Unless there's any technical problems, your relationship will continue with Flow after that point, and then they'll go through the binding process, whatever appointments, things like that. They'll handle all that, including commissions with you guys. Do you want to cover
Yes.
commissions briefly, Mark?
Yes, I was just going to go there. That's a great lead in. Thank you, Don, for that question. Yes, we will handle everything. Commission, so we are fully transparent on the commission side. So, for example, right now in the cyber market, we can get anywhere between 20 to 25% commissions. We will work with you on what we pass on. So, like, we're not going to get 25% commission and only pass on 12%. We will bump that up. We typically like to keep anywhere between 7% in that range, but we will work with you. We do also have broker fees, and that is very aggressive compared to other wholesalers, and it scales between the size determined by the size of the deal. It scales from $150 up to $350. So it's very, very flexible and competitive in this marketplace.
Great. Looks like we got another question here. What does onboarding look like for Flow and Appulate? I'll speak to Appulate, and then Mark, if you want to go for Flow. But for
Yeah.
Appulate, it's super easy. Anybody can sign up for Appulate to access Flow, for example. Flow pays Appulate to host their services on our platform, so it's a free service for you to have access to. So there's no real onboarding. If you need any training or any assistance, you can either email me or support@appulate.com. My email is dking@appulate.com. Me or support is happy to walk you through any problems you have. We have also an agent ambassador who will do a live video with you if you need a one-on-one walkthrough of how to submit or any other technical problems you're having. Do you want to go into, Mark, on your side, what onboarding looks like?
Yes. Yeah. So once you come to us, we will walk through the onboarding. It's very, very minimal at all. We will basically, talk with you about that particular submission, and then we will go ahead and engage the markets on your behalf. We will let you know which markets we're going to go with. As far as an appointment process, it is a very easy process with us. And we also have what's called a try before you buy, right? So you can work with us. You can see all the key deliverables that we give. We didn't go over this in our presentation, but you're always going to get what we call a flow quote, where we actually get a market quote and we wrap our observations and insights around it. You're always going to get that. And then if we don't go to the market, we get multiple quotes to drive competition. You're going to get a quote comparison. That's our promise on every deal. And so you're going to get that. And so if you just want to see what that looks like, you just want to see what that experience is, we can go through that before the official appointment process is done. But once we get a buying request, of course, we'll do that. And we have a whole operations team that focuses on this, and it's pretty seamless. Anything else?
All right, doesn't look like we have any more questions coming through. We'll give it just a few more seconds here unless anybody else, anything else. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We really do appreciate your time. If you need anything from me on the Appulate side, again, my email is dking@appulate.com, or if it's easier, support@appulate.com. Mark, if you want to go ahead and give out your email address real quick.
Yes, thank you, David. Again, it is Mark, M-A-R-C again. That is M-A-R-C at flowspecialty.com. It's F-L-O-W specialty.com.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for attending today. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.